We spend way too much energy and waste too much time and way too much effort focusing on things that cannot change. Like you cannot change your past.
Yeah, it's one shot, now the future is yours. Go! I'm turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the...
What is up, pre-PTs? How you doing? Hope you're having an amazing day. My name is Joseph Ngugi. I'm a physical therapist, also a PT school acceptance coach. And in today's training, we're going to be talking about 3 questions that can get anyone accepted into PT school. Yes, if you have a low GPA. Yes, if you've been rejected before. Yes, if you feel like you're not good enough. Yeah, like these questions are going to help you. So write them down. And then after I tell you what the questions are, spend some time after you watch this, after you watch this video, spend some time going through these 3 questions and asking yourself how they apply to you. If you do that, then you will get a lot out of the next few moments. The first question is, what is my personal game plan? So why is this such an important question? It's important because a lot of times when we see students struggling, it's because they're spending a lot of their energy trying to figure out what other students are doing, right? So we're applying when our friends are applying. We're studying for the GRE when our friends are studying for the GRE. We're taking the GRE the date that our friend said that they're gonna take it as well. We're doing everything based off of what we see on forums, what we see other people do, without taking the moment to realize, wait, like, I don't even know where I'm going. Like, if you don't have a compass for yourself, if you don't have a roadmap for yourself, how can you know what to do next? How can you know what your priorities are? Like, your classmates' priorities might be very different from yours. The things that they have to focus on might be very different from you. And that's one of the key areas that we see a lot of students struggling. Like, in fact, like in our coaching program, the Accepted System, one of the first things we have students do is we actually have an acceptance plan that they literally go in and fill out, because we want them to know, where am I actually at right now? Like, let me actually see everything on paper. What is my game plan? Not paying attention to what everyone else is doing, because that's actually wasting your energy and it's creating a lot of the anxiety that you might feel sometimes. Like, what's my game plan? Because it tells me where I'm really at. Now, if where I'm really at is not a good place, then cool. Like, I have a great starting spot. Now I know what I can actually work on, what I can actively work towards. But that's one of the most important questions you can ever ask yourself. And there's, forget hundreds, there's thousands of applicants every single year that apply to PT school without actually having a game plan that is unique to them. Now, we think we do because we're like, well, but I know when I'm applying, but I know when my GRE is. That's nice. Like, I'm talking about, like, do you know everything from the schools that you're going to be applying to why those schools are a match for you, to what your game plan is to become the perfect applicant for those schools, what your touch points are going to be with those schools, what how you're going to utilize your GPA, what you're going to shift, what you can control within that. What y'all, like, it gets very, very specific, but a lot of us don't take the time to do that. And that part is easily, like, for the students that we have seen struggle the most prior to even working with us, that's been one of the key elements to helping them feel like they're in control of their application, is actually knowing what their game plan is. So that's the first question you have to ask yourself. Do I actually know what my game plan is? And have I spent energy, like poured energy into figuring that out? Like what should I be doing? What is my goal with the school, with my game plan? Do I know what my next steps are? What I need to be focusing on right now? Because if I don't, I'm always gonna feel split. I'm always gonna feel divided, and it will waste your time. It will waste your energy. And at times you might even believe that you're not capable of getting into PT school when in reality you are. The second question is, how can I get into the minds of the schools that I'm applying to? Now, we've talked about this a lot in other videos and even in podcast episodes, but this is always something that is so critical when you're applying to PT school. You can't apply thinking just like a pre-PT. Remember, there's no pre-PTs on the other side that are deciding your acceptance. The only individuals who are going to be waiting to either accept or reject you as an applicant on the other side are the professors, the program directors, the people that run the schools that you're applying to. So instead of spending all your energy trying to think like yourself, like as a pre-PT, why don't we actually spend some time thinking like them, like asking ourselves, why are the things that I'm being told to do, whether it's retaking classes, like why do these things even matter? Like what's the point of them? Like how can I look at my stuff and actually understand it through their eyes? Why are all of these like obstacles in the way? Like, are they a good thing? Are they a bad thing? If I had my own school, would I do the same thing? Start spending time thinking like that, because what will happen is something kind of cool, right? When you start thinking like the schools, then what will happen is all of a sudden, one, you won't have as many excuses for yourself, but number two, you'll actually start realizing, wait a minute, I can actually anticipate a lot of the things that they're going to see and think before I apply, right? That's one thing that we've told students for years, like you can actually predict pretty well like what the schools will see and how they will think. And many times we know we're just hoping that they don't see certain things in our application, when in reality you have to understand them. Like, what is important to them? What are their priorities? Like, what do they value? Many times they don't value the things you value, right? So what do they value? Also realizing that every single school is different. Like, every single school is literally like a different person, right? And so I can't assume anything about everybody because everyone's different. So I have to treat each school the same. But how much time am I spending thinking like them? Anticipating what they're going to say, what they're going to do. Because once you do that, it gives you a pretty clear game plan of how you need to tweak things in your application to become a much stronger applicant, regardless of where you're starting. And then the last question is, what can I control now? We spend way too much energy and waste too much time and way too much effort focusing on things that cannot change. Like you cannot change your past, right? So if there's things that happen your freshman year, if there's things that happen in undergrad, if there's things that happen over the last 2 years, okay, those things are done. Like, you spending energy and time wishing they didn't happen will not change that. So how can I control now? What can I shift now? Can I retake classes now? Can I, maneuver and shift and maybe choose different schools now? Can I start building relationships with other physical therapists now? Can I start getting help and guidance now? Like, what are the things that I can control now? When you start asking that question, you will feel less like a victim and more in control of your application as a whole, because every single pre-PT, regardless of what your story is, regardless of what your scenario is, you have control over your application. The students that struggle the most are those that feel like they don't have control over their application. So ask yourself, what can I control now? If you start asking yourself these 3 questions, I'm telling you right now, the game will change. All of a sudden, you'll start asking different questions. You'll start looking for help in different places. You'll start taking ownership of everything that you've done and everything that you're currently doing, knowing that you're working your tail off currently to become a physical therapist, and you will also not give up as easily. So I hope this was helpful. If this was helpful for real, like if this was really helpful, for let us know below. But also share this with a friend that could benefit from this training, because it's important. It's important. And any student, and I'm telling you, any student, like if you start asking these questions, the game will change. We've seen some extreme scenarios with students, and they've all been able to figure it out and all been able to get into PT school. And one thing that we've always said, and I'll end with this, and then of course, like, subscribe, everything, right? But one thing that I'll end with is that any student can get into PT school. Y'all, like, we're not taught that. Like, our advisors do not tell us that. Our professors do not tell us that. There's even physical therapists that'll tell you that not everyone can get into PT school. Now, here's the caveat. Anyone can get into PT school, but not everyone will, because there's a lot of students that aren't willing to ask themselves the questions that I just told you. There's a lot of students that aren't willing to take ownership of their acceptance journey. There's a lot of students that aren't willing to do all these things. And if you're not willing to do them, then of course, like, you won't get in because you aren't giving yourself a shot. You're not taking charge of it and you're blaming it on everybody else. But if you decide to do that, then yeah, everybody can get into PT school. So it's up to you to decide whether you want that or not. And of course, if you need help, we always got preptsecrets.com and our coaching program, acceptansystem.com, if you need direct guidance and step-by-step everything to help you get into school. But that is it. I hope this was helpful. We'll see you on the next video.
Yeah, it's one shot, now the future is yours. I'm turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the